What if I told you that my worst investment taught me more than any book ever could? This isn't a story about profit, it's a story about clarity. They say timing is everything. Buy low, sell high. Sounds simple, right? But no one talks about what happens after you press buy. Not the influencers, not the platforms, not even your smartest friends. They don't mention the silence, the anxiety, the second guessing, or the crash course in psychology that begins when real money is on the line. This is not a highlight reel. It's not a success montage. This is the real story of what happened when I invested $1,000 into crypto and how that decision changed the way I think forever. Let's rewind. At the time, I had saved up $1,000. It wasn't life-changing money, but it wasn't throwaway either. It was enough to matter, enough to make me hesitate. I had been watching crypto for a while. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. These names weren't just on finance websites anymore. They were showing up in podcasts, group chats, even dinner table conversations. Everywhere I looked, someone was winning. A friend had doubled his money in 2 weeks. A YouTuber said he turned 10,000 into 1,000,000. TikTok videos promised 100x returns if you just bought early and held on. And I felt late. I felt behind. I didn't want to miss out again. So I opened my trading app, split the 1,000 like this, 50% into Bitcoin, 30 into Ethereum, 20 into Solana, and I hit buy, just like that I was in. At first, it felt amazing. I was up 15% in the first week. I checked prices obsessively, sometimes 10 times a day. It felt like I had unlocked some secret path to financial freedom. I imagined the numbers doubling, then tripling, maybe quitting my job, maybe traveling the world, maybe finally being ahead. But markets don't care about your dreams. Bitcoin dipped, Ethereum pulled back, Solana nosedived. Within days, I was down over 40%. One night, I woke up at 2 a.m. and instinctively checked my phone. My portfolio had dropped by more than $200 in my sleep. I didn't panic. I just laid there, staring at the ceiling, feeling the weight of ignorance. That was the moment it hit me. I didn't actually understand what I had bought. I knew the names. I knew the hype, but I didn't know the fundamentals. I couldn't explain what made Ethereum special. I didn't know what consensus meant. I didn't understand tokenomics, validator networks, or scaling. I had treated crypto like a lottery ticket, and when the hype vanished, I had nothing left to hold on to. Instead of rage quitting, I paused. I didn't sell. I didn't buy more. I asked myself, what am I missing? Why do people really believe in Bitcoin? What does Ethereum actually do? Why is Solana different, or is it just fast? So I started digging. I stopped watching price predictions. I started reading white papers, not skimming reading. I joined forums. I listened to developers. I followed open source discussions, not influencers. And what I discovered was this: crypto isn't just digital money. It's a new layer of the internet, a new way to coordinate trust, data, and ownership without middlemen. I learned how Bitcoin uses proof of work to create scarcity and security. I learned how Ethereum enables programmable contracts, tiny bits of code that execute automatically. I studied Solana's architecture, fast, efficient, but more centralized. I understood trade-offs. I understood that decentralization has layers, and that every project chooses a different balance between speed, security, and freedom. That shift in mindset changed everything. I stopped tracking prices. I started tracking progress. I watched what teams were shipping. I looked at GitHub commits. I read about testnets, roadmaps, and use cases. I stopped asking what will go up next and started asking what deserves to exist. I dove into DeFi. I learned about liquidity pools, automated market makers, staking, and synthetic assets. I played with decentralized exchanges, not just reading, but actually using them. I moved tokens between chains. I bridged assets. I tested protocols. And every time I interacted with these systems, I understood one thing more deeply. Crypto isn't theoretical. It works. And it's being built constantly by people all over the world, often without permission or profit. But it wasn't all learning. I made more mistakes. I bought a meme token because it was trending it rugged in 48 hours. Zero left. I fell for a fake airdrop site and lost access to a small wallet. That one stung, but it taught me about security and the difference between hot wallets, cold storage, and smart contract risk. Eventually, something shifted inside me. I wasn't just an investor anymore. I was a student, a builder of conviction, a watcher of trends, not price trends, but technology trends, human behavior trends, institutional signals. The moment I almost gave up came during a brutal week. Prices were collapsing. News outlets declared crypto dead. People I followed were disappearing. I stared at my wallet and thought, is this all just a fantasy? I opened the app, my thumb hovered over the sell button, and I paused. I wasn't sure if I was cutting losses or giving up on understanding. I turned off my phone and walked for hours. When I returned, I didn't invest more. I invested in questions. Then came the wake-up call. BlackRock filed for a Bitcoin ETF. Fidelity launched crypto custody. Institutions weren't gambling, they were positioning. That's when I realized it's not about chasing pumps. It's about understanding power. Institutions don't invest in noise, they invest in infrastructure. That made me zoom out, think in decades. Ask myself, what foundations are being laid right now? If I could write a letter to my past self, it would say this: you're not late, you're early. But this won't be easy. You'll feel stupid, you'll lose money, but that's part of learning. Read more than you trade. Test before you invest. Stay curious when others panic. Conviction isn't emotion, it's clarity under pressure. Over time, I built a checklist. Is this solving a real problem? Is there real usage or just hype? Are developers active? Is the code open source? Can it survive a bear market? If the answer was no, I stayed away. If yes, I studied more. I started journaling every move, every trade, every reason, every emotion, because crypto isn't just technical, it's emotional. It confronts your fear, greed, FOMO, and impatience. It tests your vision, your patience, your ability to think independently. And if you let it, it teaches you more about yourself than any market ever could. I no longer see coins as bets. I see them as tools. Some secure networks, some governed systems, some fuel applications, some incentivize behavior. And the more I understand the design, the better I understand the future. The truth is that $1,000 didn't change my finances. It changed my perspective. It gave me questions. It gave me patience. It gave me curiosity. Most people come to crypto looking for escape from debt, from jobs, from systems that feel rigged. But most leave before they understand what they've found. They follow noise. They give up when it's hard. But if you stay, really stay, you'll see something deeper. Crypto isn't a trend. It's a mirror. It shows how we interact with systems, with truth, with each other. It's not about getting rich overnight. It's about building what comes next. A new financial language, a new digital culture, a freer, programmable world. What I'd teach a friend getting into crypto today, if a close friend came to me today and said, I want to get into crypto, I wouldn't tell them what to buy. I'd tell them what to understand. I'd tell them to learn about custody before curiosity, about private keys before profits, about how trustless systems work and why they matter. I'd say, don't start with price. Start with purpose. What does this token do? What problem is it solving? Who's building it and why? I'd walk them through how to set up a wallet, how to read a white paper, how to question hype, check GitHub activity, and verify community transparency. I'd remind them that scams will always exist, but so will breakthroughs. Your job is to learn how to tell the difference. I'd say this space rewards depth over speed. You don't need to be first. You just need to be right. And most of all, I'd tell them this: crypto isn't about chasing money. It's about reshaping how money, data, and systems move in the world. And if you come with humility, curiosity, and a long-term view, you won't just survive. You'll grow. Final words. So what did I learn? That understanding beats timing. Clarity beats hype. And conviction isn't hope. It's informed perspective. The best investment I made wasn't Bitcoin, or Ethereum, or Solana. It was the mindset I built when the market went redanned. I didn't walk away. So when people ask me, do you still believe in crypto? I tell them, belief is shallow. Understanding is deep. And the deeper you understand, the more patient you become, the less reactive, the more free. If this helped you think differently, give it a like. Subscribe to Crypto Wayfarer, where we go beyond charts, beyond hype, and dive into the systems that will shape the future. And drop a comment. What was your first crypto buy? And what did it teach you? Until next time, stay sharp, stay curious, and stay wayfaring.